we're back with another thrilling video where I make a lot of mistakes and do a lot of crazy things. So, had some cedar, red cedar left over from a project. So you saw me round off the edges. I filled some holes in it, and I'm sanding those holes down. I use rain gate hole filler and their specialized glue gun looking thing that fills it with a nylon. You can see just the grain and just how pretty this is. Right there is where a knot hole that I filled. Another one, little crack there that I filled. I tried to use transparent, but there was still a little black left in the gun, so I did that. I got these legs at an auction, and here's where I first should have known what was wrong. But I'm getting these legs out. They look exactly like I wanted them to. I'm just not paying any attention, but they look great. But they're just entirely too tall for a coffee table, which is what my intentions are in building this and using this wood up. So these are about 22 inches tall. I didn't pay any attention, but here I am still working away, making sure they're even, they're set, right where I want them to be. I'm gonna use my wood punch and mark the holes. Yep, right there. Just pushes in, leaves a mark exactly where I want to do all my drilling, to pre-drill the holes for the screws to attach the legs. So I do that for both legs. Actually, this is my second time doing it. I did it before and forgot to film it, so I decided to do it again. And he got a great spot on my face. There's the holes. They're not really holes, they're just indentations ready for me to drill into a little bit. I think I forgot to film the drilling, but here I am putting some finish on the bottom. I decided to finish the bottom first so I could let it dry and put the legs on and then flip it over and finish the top. But just look at that color coming out. It's so pretty. I just love red cedar so much. Plus it makes your shop smell really good when you're cutting it. I could work with this all the time. It's a pretty soft wood, so it's not ideal. Like, you're not gonna put it on a heavy use table, but just a cute little coffee table that's not gonna see a lot of wear and tear is a pretty good spot. And like I said, this is just leftover from a project. I had 2 boards left, and I just wanted to use it. I'm trying to clean things up and get things all moved into one workspace because now I'm currently in 2. So here I am. I've already drilled the holes for the screws and I'm screwing them in. Typically I would do threaded inserts, but I didn't have any and I didn't want to wait on any. So we're just doing these screws. There's plenty of them. It's going to hold tight. I'm not concerned about that. I still haven't noticed that the legs are too tall. Like, haven't noticed at all. Don't know that I will. So I was just checking to make sure that screw didn't go all the way through. A few of them are longer than the others, so I kind of made sure I did those at an angle. Yep, all good there, Jules. Way to go for checking. Now to the other side. Just the same stuff. Myself situated. Get my handy dandy little DeWalt. I only buy tools when they're on sale. So I got this at a heck of a deal from Lowe's. One Day. It might have been close to Father's Day, but I'm not really sure. But it was one of those buy one, get another one free, or get another one half off, or get a battery free, or you know how those kind of deals that they run. So, and here I am, still don't notice that the legs are too long. And I flipped it over and I'm putting finish on the top now. Just because I really like showing off how it goes from kind of a dud to a stud. And look at that color. I put 3 or 4 coats on the top. I sand in between each coat, let it dry fully, sand it with a 220 grit, and do it again. Wipe it off and do it again. So just make sure I get everything done. Everything's covered the way it needs to be. I try to go all one direction. There I am, going over it with a sanding block and my little gloves, like I'm ready to work. That was fun. Going around the edges just so I can just make sure that finish stays nice and smooth to the touch. You don't want any grains, drying it off, getting all that stuff off. You don't want any dust coming through where you can feel it. So just putting another coat on. I'll spare you the other 2 coats of finish that I did, but yeah, it looks pretty good. And the next up are just some, after I'm done here, we get a little video of the top and then just some pictures. And it was finally when I started taking the pictures to list it for sale that I realized, hey, these legs are just too tall. Standard coffee table is about 16 to 18 inches tall. This is 24 inches. So it'd be a cute little dining table for a kid or a console table, but I am ordering new legs and building another console table. And as you can see here, I started cutting. I already had this pretty well prepped and planed, so I just looked up to kind of see what the size of a console or end table would be, and I cut them about 24 inches. And I got distracted by somebody coming by the house. This is at my house, not my shop in town. Don't have everything all in one place yet, but I'm getting there. So yeah, just take little slow, shallow cuts just to make sure there's no tension on the blade. That's happened before. It's a little scary. So got all these cut. I went over to the planer later and I forgot to show that. So sorry, I'm still new at all this videoing. But here I am getting ready to glue up. I'm actually using my biscuit joiner and forgot I was in the way, so you couldn't see it. So best glue adhesion method I have found, or application method, is my fingers. I have the silicone brushes, I have all the things. As long as you got a towel handy, you can wipe it off pretty quickly. So I'm tightening everything, making sure it all stays together, wiping down the glue, wetting a towel. And I've got some cauls just to make sure everything stays straight. Yeah, I had myself mic'd up, but I thought it sounded dumb, so I sped this up and am talking to you this way. So just removing all the glue I can so I don't have to sand it. It's so annoying to sand it all off. So here I am taking it all off. Of course the cauls stuck, gotta get those off. I've got a nice little Win track saw. It was a couple $100. It's been a really great investment. for me, so I don't have to run everything through my table saw, which is a little scary at times with some of the big stuff I do. So just making everything square, sizing everything off. My friend came to visit. You can see other arms in the thing. And then now I'm rounding off the edges. Just with my little handy dandy little router. Giving it a nice round over. Make sure there's no sharp corners or edges. I'll tell you what, that Ryobi router has been one of the most used tools in my shop. If I'm being completely honest, I use it for about everything. Every cutting board I've ever used, I've used it. Every table I've made, just about everything I've done. So, you know, I don't always round over. Sometimes I use chamfer bits, but I'm just trying to get rid of stuff here and wanted a quick and easy project, so that's what this is. Hopefully gonna sell it soon. So, and then this is, it's a rain gate knot filler. The stuff in my left hand there is like, it's like a hot glue, but it's like a nylon fill. It dries to solid and fills knot holes like you wouldn't believe. Scrape it off there after it's done, and it sands down. It's a great alternative. That's the word. Alternative for epoxy. It's a lot cheaper in my opinion. I try not to use stuff filled with knot holes, but you know, it's wood. It's real life, so you do what you gotta do. They come in different colors. I'm using like a semi-transparent. I've used black before. They make walnut, all kinds. Definitely check this company out. It's such a great product. And if they're big, I use this. If they're small, I just use CA glue. And now I'm sanding with my awesome Surf Prep sander and vacuum system. It just makes life easy and less dirty. And I need a taller workspace. I should have taken it to my bench. My back hurts all the time, so that's why you saw me bending over a little bit. Just making sure, poking the holes or the divots in the base for the legs. And now I'm putting some finish on the legs. And it just doesn't get better than this. I love watching the wood come to life with the finish you put on it. It goes from dull and pink to a nice deep red cedar, and I just really love it. So and you know, you gotta give a few coats on it. I think I put 2 coats on the bottom and probably 3 or 4 on the top. I didn't video all of it. But yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of every project. And now I'm pretending like I'm going to put the legs on, but turns out the screws are way too small. They're not thick enough to go, so I'm giving up and just showing some pretty pictures of all the finish. I got the legs on eventually, and now here is the coffee table and end table. Ta-da!